Hey guys, on today's Angela Box show, we've got some different movies all playing at once, and we're going to talk about the Durham Annex that just got released that 100% implicates Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama et al. And then Joe Biden and Senator Kneepads, or Peepaw and Senator Kneepads, as I affectionately call them, have reared their heads again to try and, I guess, do some damage control. And finally, Ghislaine Maxwell news and Epstein news. So stick around for all that today on the Angela Box Show.
Hello, my name is Angela Box.
Okay, first, there is a whistleblower that has been promised by Tulsi Gabbard and has now come through. Couple things happened this week that the media is ignoring, and the media continues to ignore this story to their peril, I would say, because the longer they ignore this and the longer they pretend that it's not happening, the more the American people who are paying attention to this, totally understand that they were in on this. Okay. There is no way on God's green earth that these people did not know this was a wink, wink, nudge, nudge from Obama and Clinton to get rid of Donald Trump. And the reason they have ridden so hard on Donald Trump for the last, 10 years is not only because they find him to be an existential threat to their way of life and their money grab and all these things, but also they've been in on it. Okay. And that's what we're going to come to find out. Now, they can ignore it all they want. It's not going to stop the information from coming out. And this week it was determined 100% with certainty that Hillary Clinton handed the Steele dossier to the intelligence community, set the whole Russia collusion thing up, and was basically like, hey, FBI, how about we put a little grease on this fire? And then you can take it to the media, as we discussed how they did that with, telling Trump, oh, these crazy things are being said about you, sir. Isn't it crazy? And Trump's like, get out of town. This is nuts. And then James Comey says, mission accomplished, and then released it to the bottom feeders at BuzzFeed News. And then, of course, the rest of the media ran with it. And all they needed was that little bit of door to open to give them permission to run with this story. And Hillary Clinton, never forget, goes on every single media outlet. And she put out tweets about how Donald Trump was, the Alpha Bank servers and Trump Tower were talking to each other. And, obviously Putin and Russia wanted to help Donald Trump win the 2016 election.
What bothers me, there's just too many connections to be called just coincidences. There just are. And, some of it is financial entanglements, and some of it is hunting for, negative information about me, and some of it is calling, people and trying to hide the connections and the meetings and the calls and all of that. All of that has gone on. Now, there's a lot of smoke. And whether or not there's fire, we need to figure it out. But here is what's important. Put the investigation into Trump, his associates, and everybody else to one side. There is no denying that the Russians interfered in the election.
Right.
Whether or not they had willing or unwitting help from the Trump team, they interfered, and they did so to help him and hurt me. And they did so to destabilize our democracy, and they have not stopped.
Everything was a lie. Everything was a lie. Everybody knew it. They're going to prison. Okay. Look, whether or not the jury still seems to be out if Obama can be wrapped up in this. And I say, yes, he can. Certainly after he left office January 20th, 2017. And that's hopefully going to be the final nail in the deep state's coffin, because I think they're not going to arrest Obama right away. They're going to arrest Clapper, and they're going to arrest Brennan, and they might arrest Hillary Clinton, because these people never had presidential immunity. And John Brennan's going to MSNBC, and everyone's in total panic mode. And John Brennan's like, what the Trump administration is doing right now is, they're using the intelligence communities as a political football. It's like, what? Again, every single thing they did, they are projecting. Every single thing they did, they project onto Trump and project onto us. And Tulsi Gabbard, is like, listen, I told y'all I had a whistleblower, or 10 or whatever they've got. And here's the first one. Basically, what happened was this CIA or intelligence community guy said, listen, I'm not going to sign off on this Trump Russia collusion hoax. This is like not real. Like, what are you doing? And he was basically told that his cute little ethics that he had was basically going to be a hindrance to his career. And, he should probably get over that like real soon if he wants to succeed in the intelligence community and succeed in the deep state. And he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it. And so for 6 years, this guy's been trying to tell people what's happened here. He told John Durham. And remember, John Durham, when the Durham report came out, there was all these things that were classified. And so this week, when Trump and Bondi and D&I Gabbard declassified the annex, again, this proves 100% that Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama were in on it. Not only that, I will remind you of some tweets, or some text messages. Not only that, I will remind you of some text messages that one Lisa Page and Peter Strzok sent each other. A couple of them. Quote, the White House is running this. Running what exactly? Oh, you mean the Trump Russia collusion hoax and Spygate and Crossfire Hurricane? You mean that? And then, creating a pandemic in order to get rid of one guy in 2020? Those things? Running those things? Okay. Quote, POTUS wants to know everything we're doing. POTUS did not mean Donald Trump. POTUS means Barack Obama, the first Black president. And then never forget something that Clapper said. If it weren't for POTUS Obama, we might not have done the intelligence community assessment. So what's the old saying? All roads lead to Obama. And that is what we're going to come to find out. So when the arrests start, and there must be arrests, in order for this to never happen again, we need to have arrests. It needs to be high profile arrests, and these people need to go to prison. Okay. And every single thing they've done needs to be laid bare to the American people, whether or not the media wants to report on it or not, because once it's in the record, that's the way it's going to be. And I have a question for all you leftists out there, and I mean this with all sincerity. I am the type of person that when I'm wrong or I mess up, I own it. Okay. I'm a big believer in, number one, knowing your lane, and number two, owning your shit. Okay. And so I would like to know if there's any leftists out there that have any compunction. Like, does it give you any kind of pause that basically Obama and Clinton, et cetera, committed treason, invented this out of whole cloth, invented it. Everything you believe is a lie. Everything you believe is a lie, whether it's Trump Russia collusion, whether it's the Alpha Bank hoax, whether it's what happened on January 6th, what happened in the 2020 election, COVID. Everything you believe is a lie. And it was all done to get rid of one person. So I've said this before and I'll say it again. What does Trump have on them? What in the hell does Trump have on them? And I think we're going to come to find out a whole hell of a lot, which is why they threw everything at the wall to see what would stick. And it's not going to stick. And y'all are going to jail. Okay, guess who's back? Peepaw's back. Puddin' Brain is back. And so is Senator Kneepads. But let's talk about Puddin' Brain first. So the other day, Joe Biden's handlers shot him with some Adderall or some speed or some meth or whatever, whatever Hunter's got on in reserve, and shot it into his dad. And they trotted him out and they had him read off a teleprompter, saying folks a lot, because that's just what good old Lunchbox Joe does. Your folks. Anyway, Joe Biden goes to the American Bar Association conference, bunch of filthy leftist lawyers, and said, doing a little prevent defense, saying that, gosh, everything that's going on right now, this is really a threat to democracy. Like, even more than what we thought it was going to be. Like, it's so bad, you guys. It's so bad. And please don't listen to anything that he's saying right now, because it's all a terrible lie. It's more of the big lie that Donald Trump likes to say. And it's like, listen, people, there's only so much of that is going to work. Like I said in the last little segment, the facts are the facts, and the proof is the proof, and the proof is that you're a traitor, Joe Biden. Okay, not only were you involved with all the stuff Obama was doing to Trump, you had your own treason that you were doing when you stole the 2020 election, when you did a coup on the sitting president of the United States on January 6th, when you helped to create COVID in the first place with your son's company, Metabiota. You're not only going to hell, but you're hopefully going to jail for the rest of the remaining years you have on this earth. So no matter speech giving or saying threat to democracy, Trump is like, it's not going to work. It's not going to work, Joe. But by all means, earn that $10 million that you got for writing your memoir. Little payoff there. Side note, what the hell is Joe Biden going to write about? Is he going to write about how he had, 5,000 auto pen pardons that are all going to be overturned? Is he going to talk about, the terror that he felt on January 6th? Like, what exactly is he going to talk about? Is he going to talk about how he took more vacation and sat on the beach more than any president ever in the history of ever? Like, what is he going to talk about? Is he going to talk about how his administration printed $8 billion and just put it out into the economy thinking that would work and it just sent inflation through the roof? What's he going to talk about? Is he going to talk about how he opened the border and lost 400,000 children, gave it to his pedophile friends? Like, what? What is Joe Biden going to write about in that memoir? Like, oh, can't wait. Look, it's like Obama's memoir. They pay them off in these book deals and everybody knows it. So, have fun pretending to write a book. Like, maybe you should just write a color by numbers book, Joe Biden, because that's about the level your brain is at this point. And then we've got Senator Knee Pads, who's back, who has darkened our doorstep once again. Just when you thought Senator Knee Pads was deep into the wine of the month club. Nope, this heifer's back. And she's back because she's been also given money to write a, quote, memoir called 107 Days. It's 107 days, the most historic candidacy in the history of candidacies. And she only had 107 days. You guys, if she had 120 days, or if Joe Biden had gotten out and just anointed her 6 months prior, she totally would have won. It's no heifer. The more the American people heard you speak and cackle and word salad and drunkenly try and get through a speech, the more that was a problem for you. So count your blessings that you only had 107 days. Okay, please. Going on Stephen Colbert's show and talking about, threats to democracy and all the fascism we're seeing. It's listen, heifer, I sincerely hope that you and Cory Booker, who had another, 24-hour rant on the floor of the Senate, who's eating his feelings, and he's going to need another beard soon. I don't know if Rosario Dawson's still available, but he's definitely going to be running for president and will need a beard. So make a beeline to Senator Booker, all you leftist women. Anyway, between him and Gavin Newsom and Kamala Harris, they're all going to be running for president. And if Kamala Harris thinks that it's going to be, an anointing again, think twice, sis. Think twice. They're going to tear you apart, just like Tulsi Gabbard did. And I think it's hilarious that Kamala Harris decided this week that she just, she wasn't going to run for California governor. The reason why, ladies and gentlemen, is because she would have lost. And she would have lost badly. Okay. Rick Grinnell said that if Senator Knee Pads ran, he was definitely going to be running. I mean, I still think he should run, but he was like, oh, for sure I will if this heifer runs. But, fear not, she will be back, ladies and gentlemen. It will be Senator Knee Pads time very soon again. And the Democrat primary cannot come soon enough, as far as I'm concerned, because that's going to be fun. Okay, finally, real quick, Ghislaine Maxwell news and Epstein news. Obviously, all this Epstein stuff they did was to take your eye off the ball of the treason that Team Obama and Team Clinton did. obvi, okay? Because last week when Trump was like, hey, how about we release the grand jury testimony in Florida and New York? And Democrats are like, no, we don't want that. We don't want that to be released. And, we really don't want Ghislaine Maxwell to come testify. Like, now that we know that she talked to Tod Blanche for 2 times and probably revealed at least 100 names of people that were on the plane at Lolita Island, et cetera, like, no, we don't want that. I have this kind of recurring daydream, and that's, of course, if Ghislaine Maxwell can remain alive. But I have a recurring daydream that she's going to come and speak in front of the House or the Senate or whoever, and it's going to be like wall-to-wall coverage. And the Republicans will ask her, was this person on the list? Was this person on the list? Did you see this person at the island? Did you fly with this person? And Ghislaine Maxwell is going to be like, yep. That's going to be an amazing day, will it not, ladies and gentlemen? But the Democrats are going to kick and scream against any of these names being released. Like, they will say this is a spectacle, and Ghislaine Maxwell doesn't have any proof of this. But let me tell you all something. I don't think Ghislaine Maxwell is going to be given any kind of consideration, whether it's her sentence being, shortened or whatever, if she doesn't have actual proof and the goods on all these people. Like, okay. And on that note, the DOJ just released this information that Ghislaine Maxwell is getting ready to be transferred to a prison in Texas, which a friend of mine's like, why are they releasing that? Like, do they want her to get killed? No, I think why they are releasing this is a bit of a trap, perhaps, for the worst people in the world who want this woman dead. So hopefully she stays safe and stays alive, and we don't have another hashtag Epstein didn't kill himself situation. I think the Trump administration has her good and well protected. Okay. And I think this part of the movie, the Epstein part of the movie, is just getting started. Just like the Obama Spygate part of the movie, the Epstein Files part of the movie, and then what's the third plank of the triple feature that an intelligence board used to talk about? That would be COVID. All done to get rid of one person. And this is, again, karma in action. God among us, God showing the world that you can't play. You can only mock God for so long because eventually it's going to come bite you in the ass. That's what we're watching, ladies and gentlemen. So get all the popcorn out because here we go. All right, that's where I'm going to leave this video. Please like and subscribe, tell your friends, do all the things. And until next time, I will be done. Bye.